Hey, what's up? It's Anthony Marley Love. Welcome to another episode of Traveling While Black. And once again, we're on the search for magic on the archipelagos of the San Juans. This time, we are visiting Orcas Island.
Yes, and as a reminder, last year we went to the namesake island, San Juan Island, and found a lot of magic there. But we hear that Orcas Island has even more magic.
Yep, so to see if we found that magic, take a look at this episode. Also, be sure to check out our last visit to the San Juans on San Juan Island, and be on the lookout for our visit to the final island we'll be checking out, Orcas Island. But again, take a look at this episode, and as always, let us know what you think. Hey, what's up? I'm Anthony.
And I'm Marley. Welcome to Traveling While Black.
One of the best things about living in Washington State is having access to some amazing islands. And if you watched our episode 145, then you know that the San Juan Islands definitely fit in that category.
For this episode, we took another trip to the San Juan's archipelagos. This time to check out the second island of what we consider to be the main three, Orcas Island.
Orcas Island, which was originally inhabited by the Strait Salish peoples, surprisingly got its name not from the majestic animals that inhabit its surrounding waters, but rather from the Mexican viceroy who financed the exploration of the area in the late 1700s. Compared to the previous island we visited, San Juan Island, Orcas has some noticeable differences.
Yes, for instance, the terrain. As opposed to San Juan Island, Orcas Island is more mountainous and forested. Also, while San Juan Island is more populated than Orcas Island, Orcas is slightly bigger.
Yes, the islands were definitely different in those aspects. But there would also be another difference on Orcas we were told about that wasn't so visibly seen, at least to us initially.
Prior to our previous trip, we had heard that the islands overall were magical, which turned out to be true based on our experience on the archipelago's namesake island. But prior to this trip, we were told that Orcas Island would be in fact where we would find the most magic.
Hearing this really surprised us because we didn't think it could get more magical after our experience in Friday Harbor. So having piqued our interest, we wondered what could it be that makes people consider Orcas to be more magical than the others.
So using what we learned from our previous visit to the islands, we booked our ferry tickets and headed off to find out the answer for ourselves. Drive grade. The journey to get from Seattle to Orcas Island, according to the GPS, would take us around 3 hours and 2 minutes, which included the hour-and-a-half drive to the ferry on Anacortes.
Taking into account the hour wait showing up at the recommended pre-departure time, the journey for us was about 4 hours total.
Learning from the mistake we made our last visit to the San Juan Islands, we reserved our spot on the ferry weeks in advance, making our ferry experience a lot better this time.
Thanks to our preemptive booking, which again can be done up to 90 days in advance, we were able to get a later ferry time. This also meant that we actually got to enjoy the views on the trip over as opposed to last time.
Remember, the San Juan archipelagos includes over 172 named islands and reefs. And like Ant said, we actually see some of those thanks to not having to deal with morning fog like our last trip.
The length of the ferry ride wasn't bad either. Even with it lasting about an hour and a half, it still went by pretty fast. So when taking the same route to get to the ferry, but having a way more pleasant ferry ride, naturally, our drive grade rating will increase for this experience first to last.
In which case, for our trip to Orcas Island, we give a 5 out of 5 for drive grade.
Level of fun. Once the ferry landed, we were excited to get onto Orcas to find out what was it about the island that makes people claim it to be the most magical of all the San Juan Islands.
But not before checking into the place where we would be laying our heads for the next couple of nights. First, it is important to note that on Orcas, you won't find many traditional hotels.
For reasons you will see within this episode, a lot of visitors come to Orcas are coming to camp at the many campsites on the island.
And for those not wanting to stay in a tent or camp at all, Airbnbs and bed and breakfast type establishments more so fit the vibe of the island.
Yep, even the historic Orcas Hotel, which has been operating since 1904, feels more like a bed and breakfast. But more on that later.
For us, we chose to stay at Otter's Pond Bed and Breakfast, an adult retreat that offers 5 luxurious suites that are available year-round.
Not only are the suites themselves very comfortable, the property also offers relaxing lounge areas both inside and outside, with beautiful views of Otter's Pond as well as the local wildlife. Oh yeah, they even offer an outdoor hot tub, so to really chill out while enjoying the views.
Yes, as soon as we checked in, we knew that we made the right choice for our stay on the island. On top of the amazing accommodations, we were also able to get a breakdown of the island before starting our search to understand Orca's magic.
For simplicity, Orcas Island can be divided up into two parts, East Sound and West Sound. The West Sound is where you depart the ferry. You will find a very small village with a few shops and restaurants. The East Sound is where you will find the larger village with more shops and restaurants.
Outside of their different vicinities, both East and West Sound offered quite a bit. For example, both offered excellent options for food and drink. On the east side, we had dinner at two great places, Buck Bay Shellfish Farm and New Leaf Cafe.
On the West Sound, we enjoyed a delicious meal at Orcas Hotel Cafe. What's interesting about this experience is that the historic hotel where the cafe is located is reported to be haunted, and we may have possibly encountered some of the actions of the supernatural resident during our dinner.
Yes, we had some great lunches and dinners on the island. As for breakfast, we had the luxury of being served a different delicious meal every morning, which lends to another great thing about Otter's Pond Bed and Breakfast, and that is owned and operated by James Beard recognized chef Amanda Zilmick.
Other than the great food and drink, both East and West Sound offer amazing outdoor options. Those options, of course, include an abundance of beaches. Although it is on the West Sound within the Deer Harbor area that you will find the only sandy beach on the island.
Along with the beaches, Orcas offers a ton of camping and hiking options, like Turtleback Mountain on the West Sound, and not one but two state parks on the East Sound, Obstruction Pass State Park and Moran State Park.
On our trip, we decided to check out the much bigger Moran State Park. A big reason why we chose this park over the other was the park's access to the island's highest point, Mount Constitution, which of course we had to check out.
Yes, I really enjoyed this mountain view experience because while there are a multitude of multi-use trails you can take to the top, you can also choose to simply drive to it, which is exactly what we did.
If you do choose to drive up, there is a parking lot along with the visitor center that includes some really clean public bathrooms. But of course, the real payoff is the views, which are enhanced by the stone watchtower, which also offers some interesting exhibits within.
Even though I was loving the shortcut to the payoff, we couldn't visit Moran State Park without experiencing a real hike. So we found out about an often overlooked hike that offers another spectacular payoff. And even better, it was decently easy.
That hike was the Cascade Falls, a moderate trail that takes hikers a quick but peaceful hike through beautiful forest. In less than a half a mile, you come to a spectacular 45-foot waterfall, which can be taken in either at an upper or lower viewpoint.
If you happen to be interested in more of a challenge, the trail also connects to more trails that lead to other waterfalls. But again, this was perfect for me.
It is important to note that the parking around all of the trails within the state parks require a Discover Pass, but there are plenty of pay stations around if you only need a day pass. Also, if you don't have a boat or boat accessories, there are plenty of places around Orcas that offer rentals. And renting just doesn't stop with boats. Visitors can also rent bikes, mopeds, and even cars.
Cars may be a great rental option if you choose to take the fast ferry from Anacortes. Yes, we had a blast during our outdoor experience on Orcas, just like our previous experience on San Juan Island. And we can honestly say that we really enjoyed our time.
Still, at the end of it all, we had to ponder, what was it that makes Orcas more magical than the other islands?
And in asking, no one could articulate it for us. Not the locals who joined our table for our meal at Buck Bay, not any of the locals at the local farmers market, and not even our host Amanda at Otter's Pond.
But when we thought deeper about our experiences, it finally hit us. Whether we were enjoying a meal at one of the restaurants, driving from place to place on the island, staring at a waterfall in Moran State Park, or even just lounging at Otter's Pond Bed and Breakfast, we were always surrounded by nature, to the point we were engulfed in it. Yes, it was magical.
While we don't know if we can say Orcas offers more or any less magic than San Juan Island, we can say that it is a different type of magic. How we sum it up is that San Juan's Friday Harbor provides the type of options that take you to experience the magic of the archipelago, but Orcas, it provides options for the magic to come to you.
Once again, we definitely recommend a visit to the San Juan Islands, no matter if you choose the namesake island or Orcas Island. In regard to this experience on Orcas Island, we give a 5 out of 5 for level of fun.
Comfortability for Black people. As for our comfort rating for Orcas, even though they don't boast a Black mayor like Friday Harbor on San Juan Island, we still experience the same comfortable feeling.
Yep, not only was the service at all of the establishments welcoming, the locals we encountered were extremely friendly. At Buck Bay, 2 ladies joined our table and engaged us in friendly conversations, as well as tips and recommendations of things to do on the island.
The friendliness of the locals continued at the Orcas Farmers Market when one lady working her booth called us over to send us a picture she took of us while we were taking pictures of ourselves, simply because she thought we were cute.
On our trip, for the couple of days we were on the island, we did see 2 other Black visitors, and also saw some more around the ferry station, both when we were arriving and leaving the island.
Although in regards to the Black resident population, Orcas Island is less than 1% Black. While on the surface, this could cause some reservations, but Orcas Islands is a perfect example that the current lack of Black residents doesn't automatically equate to an uncomfortable experience, and also a perfect reminder to why we do our show.
Yes, we go to find out so we can encourage more of our people, and really more of anyone outside of the majority, to experience these amazing places, despite the lack of familiar or diverse faces.
Although we did notice quite a bit of pride flags, which visibly added to our comfort prior to interacting with the people. All of these are reasons why, for our experience on Orcas Island, we give a 5 out of 5 for comfortability for Black people.
We hope you found this episode to be helpful and entertaining. Be sure to check out our previous episodes.
And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check us out on all of our social media platforms.
Until next time, beautiful people, stay up, stay true, and do you.